This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2022 Forest River Salem travel trailer, and the model number is 22 RBS. So I'm going to show you some of the features and how they work. So here we are at the door side rear, and let me get down here. You have scissor type stabilizers, as you can see right here. They crank with a 3/4 inch crank or a drill, or excuse me, a 3/4 inch 6-point bit on a drill. Also, these have another feature called a strong arm. That's this yellow piece here. That gives you more stability moving forward to rearward when you're set up to camp. You just remember this T-handle here is what locks the inner piece to the outer piece. So when you're raising and lowering these, there's one on each corner, of course, you always want to have that loose so it'll move smoothly. Once you get it down into place, stabilized how you want it, then you'll tighten that, right? So it just stabilizes it even more. Like I said, the forward and rear movements are not eliminated, but it goes a long way. So, but just remember to loosen them up before you bring them back up again. That's the important thing, okay? All right. So, your stairs have legs that operate independent of each other, so you can adjust it to the terrain. You're just going to push up on this metal piece right here. There's one on each side, and you can lower and raise the legs to fit the terrain that you're on. Okay, so the most common way to get water to the trailer is the city water hookup. I'll show you that when we get to the other side. This is your fresh water tank here. So you can fill the fresh water tank right there. You would do that if you're camping someplace without city water. Let's say you're boondocking, or you're just somewhere that doesn't have city water. You can pre-fill the tank and then use the onboard pump to pump the water. Therefore, all the plumbing will still work as though you had city water. If you have city water, you don't have to worry about it. There's also a drain. You see that excuse me, that white gate valve right there? That drains your fresh water tank if you need to drain it. Let's say you still have it half full and you're going home, you don't want to carry the water with you, you can just pull that and dump it. All right, you have outside speakers, of course. This is a TV signal out and some power, so you can put a TV there. This is the range for the vent hood. Now there's a baffle in there, and it snaps into place in the closed position, but you can stick your finger up into those notches and flip it open so it flaps freely. Anytime you're venting with using the range hood vent fan that's over the stove, you want to have that open so it vents to the outside. It has to be flapping freely. Otherwise, you just keep it closed. This is just your furnace vent. Outside speakers. This is your water heater. So this works on both gas and electric. Right now it's empty and bypassed, right? So keep that in mind. It's winterized. This trailer is winterized, so it's good till the spring. But in the spring, when you are getting ready to camp and you de-winterize the trailer, always make sure you put the valves on the back into camping position, right? And you let the water heater tank, which is right behind here actually, it's a 6-gallon tank, let that fill up completely before you turn it on. Otherwise you could damage it. Right here, this switch right here, this on-off toggle switch, that controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover here, right? And then there's another switch inside that will control your gas valve to run it on gas. Most people leave it on electric while they're camping. And if they're going to shower, they'll kick on the gas because you get faster recovery. You just get more hot water. It's not on demand, but it's headed that way anyway. So the best way to shower is with it on using the gas burner. Otherwise, you just keep it on electric. Like I said, always make sure that there's water in the tank before you turn it on. Okay, you have a power awning with LED strip. All right. Here's your other stabilizer with the other strong arm. In here we have our hitch. This is a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control. We'll show you how that works when you pick up. You have various cranks here. This is the crank that goes in the drill, or the socket that goes in the drill. Okay. This top piece here has to do with, in case you have an awning failure, you can get the awning up using this. You have to read up about it. You pretty much have to do it while you're looking at the video to understand it, but that's what that's for. And then this small crank here is for the power tongue jack. So if the power tongue jack, which obviously works up and down, it's also got a light on it, but if it was to fail, you can pull this rubber plug out, stick that crank on there, and you can operate it manually to get yourself out of trouble. Okay, you have two 20-pound LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator. You have a deep cycle marine battery, and this is the kill switch for your battery. So if you want to shut the battery off, let's say you're putting it into storage or something, you just turn the key off and it'll disconnect the battery. Okay, this is just the other end of the pass-through storage here. This is your dump hose here. You can sort of see it off in the distance. There's an adapter to adapt your 30 amp down to 20 amp if you need to. Okay, slide room. This is your 30 amp power cord. It's 30 amps and 30 feet long. You get this plugged into a 30 right now, but I showed you, like I just said, you have a reducer, so you can plug it in at home if you needed to pack up. You can run the lights and stuff. These are your dump valves here. The black one is toilet water and waste. It's always the larger valve. The gray is toilet water the gray is sink and shower water. The black is toilet water and waste. If you come back here, right here, this is the black tank flush. So like it says on this sticker here, if you want to flush the black tank when you're dumping it, you dump the black tank, of course, but you leave the valve open. It's important to leave the valve open. You don't want to build too much pressure. You put the hose on here, turn it on, and it'll flush out the tank, clean off the sensors, that sort of thing. Always make sure you leave the valve open when you do that. This is your city water hookup, so most common way to get water to the trailer. This is just cable and satellite into the trailer. Okay. That housing right there tells us this is pre-wired for a backup camera. That's a Furrion type camera, so you can, if you want to add one of those on, it's very simple to do. All right. Also, while we're looking up, the manufacturer states that you should inspect your roof every 60 days. So you always want to send somebody up there or go up there yourself, look around, make sure there's no cracking or separation, any problems with the sealant where water could get through. Look at the roofing material and the roofing attachments, make sure they weren't damaged by low branches or road debris flying up there. You're just protecting your investment. So inspect the roof regularly. That's very important. People generally don't do that enough. It's a win-win thing. Alrighty. So, some heat in here. Okay, so where to start? Right here, I guess. So, this is your fireplace, of course, and this is the, this is not the remote. I'll have to find the remote for the fireplace. I don't, well, I'll track it down. This remote here is for your sound bar right here. Anyway, I'll operate it with the buttons here. So, of course, it's on and off. Right? Then, you can change the color of the flame. Let's get this going here. That's the color of the crystals. And then you can also do the flame, like so. And also, if you look right here, it's 0, 0, that means the fan is off. This is also a space heater. So if you click it once, it goes to low, which is low fan speed. Click it again, it goes to high. That's really kicking. So it's a good space heater too. So you always want to set the fan speed accordingly, okay? Okay, so your TV will go here. There's a backer plate for a bracket, of course. It'll screw, or the coax will go right on here. This green light is telling us that the signal booster, the digital signal booster for the antenna is on. So you can shut it off, but when you're using the antenna, with the TV with the antenna or the antenna period, you always want the booster on, okay? If you're getting a lousy signal, always check to make sure it's on. This is just telling you that this is pre-wired for a digital signal booster and router. There's also going to be a port on the roof where you can hook an antenna to. If you're interested, you can go to kingconnect.com and look at their products. You always want to get the one with the antenna on the roof and then a router that would fit here. So, okay. if you're interested. It just gives you better Wi-Fi. It boosts the signal really good. You get better public Wi-Fi. When it comes to your sound, it has FM radio. It has Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or your tablet. It has a USB, so you can put all your favorite albums on one USB drive and take them with you, for example. The HDMI is an in, so if you wanted to get, let's say, a portable Blu-ray player, you could set it right here and then plug it right into the HDMI there if you wanted to. Also, it has two speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. And this is the remote that goes with it. Okay, so this is your control panel here. First of all, your slide out is here, your button. Your awning is here. Never leave the awning out unattended. Always roll it in when you're not going to be using it. Your water pump is right here. So you use the water pump to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water hookup, right? You also use it to winterize the trailer. To turn your water heater on gas, it's like that. There's the fault light there. Remember I told you to turn on the electric element, use that rocker switch in the lower left-hand corner outside. We have lights. So the other lights were outside, the awning light, the LED strip. And then of course you have your levels, your battery's charged, fresh water is empty, black is empty, gray is so on. They graduate up in 1/3 increments, so keep in mind once you get past 2/3 you got to start thinking about dumping the gray and the black tanks. Okay, so your range, you should always have it closed, like the top closed when you're traveling. You don't want to leave it open because it tends to break if you do that, but if you close it there'll be no problem. You have 3 burners and 3 knobs right here. That's the oven. And then this is the sparker. You turn it clockwise to spark. Okay? So I'll just go with this burner here. You just turn it on and then spark it. Just like that. It's that simple. To light the oven, it's a little bit different. There's a pilot light all the way at the bottom in the back there. I can spark it so you can see it. There you go. You can see it back there. So what you do is you go to the oven knob, you go to the picture of the flame, which means pilot. You depress it. You keep it depressed while you're lighting it. You'll spark it with the other hand till you see the flame light down here. Right? After it lights, you still hold it in for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. After that point, you go to operating temperature, and it cycles as an oven does. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light, so you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. Close this up here. Your keys are right here on your kitchen faucet. So I told you about the range hood vent outside. If you're going to run the fan, you always want to open that baffle so it flaps freely outside. You have a light here also. Your microwave works like any other microwave. Nothing unique about it. Okay, let's see here. This is your thermostat. It's very simple. You just hit the mode button to light it up, and then you just click through the modes. If it gives you an option of fan speed, always choose auto. The air conditioning will give you that. It also, so it goes from heat to fan. The fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. It just circulates air. Then the next one will be cool, which is air conditioning, and then heat is your propane furnace. All right. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. It should always be green. If it's not green, get it serviced. It's important. It'll detect carbon monoxide buildup or LP leak. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, figure out what's going on. I can put it through the paces here, I think. Yeah. So that was the LP check is good, carbon monoxide coming up. Okay. This is your power converter. So this basically converts AC to DC power. So you can see on this side you got regular 110 AC circuit breakers like you'd have at home. And then of course they're all labeled here, right? Then the power is converted from 110 AC to 12 volt DC over here. So you got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled. So that's the 12 volt distribution box there, distribution area. Also, if any of these fuses were to blow, they'll actually light up, and you can see them through this tinted plastic right here. Okay? And last but not least, as long as you're plugged in, this is going to be a battery tender. It'll sense how much energy your battery needs, the one up front, and it'll always keep it charged up. As long as you're plugged in, it'll send as many amps as it needs to charge it. So when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator will charge the battery using the charge line, right? And then when you're plugged in at the home or campsite, wherever you're at, this will keep the battery charged too. So, okay. All the plugs are wired through a GFCI. That's why it says this. Even though this is not physically a GFCI plug, they're all wired through one, which is generally in the bathroom right here. So if you're using, even the plug on the outside, if you're using something outside and it pops, you're going to reset it in here. Okay. All right. Well, we're in the bathroom here. We might as well. The sink works like any other sink. The shower works like any other shower. You have a vent, a fan, I should say, with a vent. Now, the toilet, this is antifreeze, the pink stuff you see, because it's winterized. The black tank is directly below. So the bottom line is, you have to, that's the flush pedal I was just stepping on. Let's see. You can't use it dry. By dry, I mean with the black tank empty. So when you get to the campground, your black tank's empty because you've dumped it before, and hopefully you flushed it. So you pull into the campsite, you hook up your power and your water, then you're going to come in here and you're going to dump one dose of chemical right in the bowl, right? Then you're going to step on the pedal, and because there's water hooked up, water will come swirling around, and so you stand on it long enough to put at least a gallon in there too. So you want at least a gallon of water. You can use more, but at least a gallon of water plus a dose of chemical, and you're all set. You can't use it dry, because if you do, the smell will be super terrible, and also it can get clogged up. So you always have chemical and water in there. Okay. I think they left the panel off. Yeah. This is where you do your winterization here. That panel fits on there, but they left it off because you're going to have to de-winterize it. But that's where that's done. Okay. So you have storage under here, of course, for your table and everything. You can remove that table when you're not using it. You have a 12-volt DC refrigerator, so this runs off 12 volts. So it has a compressor which is 12 volts, which is, most of them are 110 AC, the one you'd have at home, but these are used in RVs, plus they're using them in people's houses nowadays too, I think. It's becoming more common, but that's 12-volt DC. Of course, your sliding door here. You have your TV hookups here. Backer plate to put a bracket. You want a bracket that swings out towards the bed, so you can see it when you're laying in bed if you put a bracket here. Always try and spend the extra money and get one that locks into place when it's closed. Otherwise, you have to hang a strap. It's just a pain. So if you spend a little more and get the one that latches, that's the best way to go. There's storage underneath the bed, of course, like always. And then this is your emergency escape window. It just works like this. You push it all the way through, right? Then you're going to grab hold of this red tab and pull the screen out, and you can exit during an emergency that way. Okay. Of course, you have 12-volt USB chargers everywhere. Let me look around, see if I forgot anything. I think I got it covered. I think so. Okay. So that's it, basically. I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And like I said, you want to inspect the roof every 60 days. That's important. Make sure you get that taken care of. If you see any issues, take care of it immediately. Odds are you won't see anything for years, but you're just inspecting to make sure. Okay? And right now, this is winterized, so the water's been purged out and replaced with antifreeze. Your water heater is bypassed and empty right now. Okay? Thank you.